This weekend, you are invited to come out for the FCA All-Star Games in Abilene, Brownwood, and San Angelo. And here to tell us more about it is the man himself, Mr. David Bacon. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah, especially for you.
Well, on Friday, I'll be down in San Angelo. I'll be doing the baseball and softball All-Star Games.
Okay.
Being played on the Angelo State campus, and that'll be Friday. The softball game starts at 11, the baseball game at 6 at Foster Field. So that'll be going on in San Angelo on Friday, those two games. Then on Saturday, 12 noon, the volleyball game will be played at Abilene Wiley High School, and that's always a lot of fun. And then the basketball games, normally those are played a week earlier, but because of a scheduling conflict at Brownwood Coliseum, they'll be playing at 4 and 6 o'clock, the basketball games in Brownwood, and then of course the crown jewel, the Merle Greathouse All-Star football game. That'll be Friday night at 7. Now, all of those games will be streamed live on BigCountryHomepage.com, so Aunt Martha and Uncle George in Ponca City can watch.
They can watch. Give us a history behind all these games.
Well, actually, it all got started 19 years ago. What is now the Merle Greathouse FCA All-Star Festival football game got started 19 years ago. At that time, there was no full-time person for the Big Country chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They just wanted to raise enough funds from that football game to hire one person to be the full-time director. It has now grown in 19 years. Now you have 6 All-Star games. 9 full-time employees for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in Abilene, and this not only includes the Big Country, the Concho Valley, as well as the Heartland. We're talking about coaches and athletes from an area. This is a huge region, going all the way from Stephenville to Colorado City, Knox City on the north, all the way down to Sonora and Ozona in the south. So it's a huge area encompassed by this chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Tell us about that very first football game and kind of the cool outcome of it, I guess you could say.
Well, I guess we should have known that God was in charge when it had been raining all week long leading up to that very first game 19 years ago. And there was some question whether the game will even be played because of the weather. But then about 30 to 45 minutes before kickoff, literally the clouds parted, the sun came out. God was smiling down on this because the game has been played without incident ever since. And it's always a lot of fun, draws a big crowd.
Tell us about the athletes that are in these games.
Well, this is a great opportunity for these athletes to see. You've got kids from 1A schools, 2A schools playing kids from 6A and 5A schools like Abilene High and Cooper. Gives them a chance to play against one another and create a bond. One year, Case Keenum, who's now quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings and now signed with Denver.
Yes.
He was playing in it. And of course, at the time, he'd been at Wiley High School, and he said, I really didn't care for the kids from Sweetwater too much. There's a little rivalry between Wiley and Sweetwater. He got to play with them in the FCA All-Star Games, said, hey, Sweetwater kids are all right. So it was an interesting opportunity for these kids to bond and have an opportunity to learn more about Jesus Christ.
And what do these games mean to this whole area?
Well, it's an opportunity, one more time, for these kids to play in front of fans, family, and friends. One more chance. Also, it's a great opportunity to learn more about the gospel. So it's just a great opportunity. One more chance to play. And also, all the funds raised not only by these games also give these kids and coaches a chance to go on to FCA camps later in this summer. So it's a great deal all the way across the board.
And tell us how these kiddos get picked to be on these teams.
These are all nominated by their coaches. The coaches are sent forms by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes office, and then these kids are nominated, athletes are nominated by their coaches to play in this game. And it's also one more thing. Used to be there was an all-star football game that was played, coached by, well, it was Texas High School Football Coaches Association. They don't play that game anymore. So this is one of these few all-star games now left for kids who've graduated to get to play one more time.
And tell everyone out there how they can get tickets to come out to any of these games. Where do they go?
You can buy tickets at the game, or you can go to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes little website here in town, or of course watch them all live on Big Country Homepage or the football game Saturday night live here on the K-Tab.
And you have a few sponsors that we want to shout out to for helping this be possible. Tell us who they are.
Well, there are a number of people. Big Country Chevy Dealers, one of the main sponsors, and Lawrence Hall, one of the major forces behind that. So that's the Big Country Chevy Dealers have really gone to bat to help out the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
All right, David, we appreciate you taking time to meet with us today.
Thank you.
Good luck on your busy weekend. I know that this is something you just love to do.
I really do, and it gets me out of doing yard work also.
Okay. All right, if you would like to come out for the games, the softball game will be in San Angelo Friday, June 8th at 11 a.m. The baseball game will also be in San Angelo Friday at 6 p.m. Basketball games will be in Brownwood this Saturday with girls basketball at 4 p.m. and boys basketball at 6 p.m. And of course, in Abilene, you can catch FCA volleyball Saturday, June 9th at noon. And the big football game will be Saturday, June 9th at 7 p.m. And remember, you can watch the football game live right here on KTAP.